Is there a structure to miracles, or is there a process to follow to make miracles happen? I'm doing something different today. I'm actually going to review the Miracle Healing Masterclass by Nicole Ling. And I saw the ads that she was putting on Facebook. We're using similar language about incurable diseases, chronic illness. So I was curious when I saw these ads, so I signed up for her masterclass. In my masterclass, I would not add the words healing to begin with. We're really focused on that we need to be healed, that we need healing. We're usually focusing on what's wrong with the body. When you focus on what's wrong and you're obsessed with what's wrong with the body, you get more of that. That's the law of attraction. You know, where your predominant thoughts are is where you attract your, your focus. That's where things expand. So we want to let go of the words healing. That's one of the differences I see right away. But I'm just going to go through my notes and we'll see how this flows. It might seem a little disjointed, but I thought it was interesting right away. We have a different approach. And a lot of people are like this. A lot of teachers will say healing and heal, but they're not aware, if that person is really obsessed with that, if you will, they actually make it stronger and sticky within them. All right, then she talks about her credentials. That her big thing was she had rheumatoid arthritis, and myself had multiple sclerosis, bipolar, migraine, psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, PTSD, just a whole bunch of issues. And I was sick for about 38 years. I think she was sick for 3 to 5 years. Because it's really confusing. In one slide, it said this number, and when she gave a talk, it said a different number. So somewhere around there. So she was sick for quite a few years. But she's saying, what is a miracle? They happen all the time. They're normal and natural. They're a gift from God. Well, I'll get into this, but the way I see a miracle is, and if you look at the dictionary, and I like this as well, it doesn't follow the natural laws of science, of nature. There's no explanation. There's no logic to it. So we need to move beyond the mind, if you will. And the thing that really struck me, a gift from God, that's looking outside yourself for the answer. And when I was very sick, I was constantly looking outside myself for the answer. It was their job to fix me. And when I teach is that God is not outside of us, the divine intelligence is within us, that all the power is here. It's not out there. That's also a big difference. But she's saying here, I just wrote this down, I thought it was kind of interesting. If you're feeling depressed, feeling stuck, then a miracle is not happening in your life. If you're feeling stuck, nothing's working out. To me, you're stuck in your thoughts, you're stuck in the head trash. And we got to clear that head trash out and tap into our own knowing, our own essence. And then she said, her definition is, a miracle is a change of mind. Changes must happen in the mind first. She was talking about a shift in perception. And this reminded me of the Wayne Dyer quote. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So we're seeing miracles different. She's seeing it as changing the mind. And I see miracles as simply things that the mind cannot explain. But we need to go beyond the mind, the thinking, the identity, the personality that we have there that's causing issues. And her thing, and I wrote this down too, she said, all miracles start with the mind first. In a way, yes, that is true. You have to make a choice that I need to make a change. So we have to change, we have to make that decision that we need to change. But we don't want to stay up in here for the change in the mind, because that will create issues and problems. Then she said, when you want a miracle, it's not just more than is healing your problem. This is a really important point she makes here. If you want a miracle, it's not just about healing your problem. It's actually being in a state of happiness, joy, peace. Yes, this is exactly what I teach. If you want that change in your life, you have to be aligned with who you really are, which is spirit, soul, consciousness. And that natural state is happy, joyful, and peaceful. It's a place going beyond the mind. So her structure on how to get miracles, she basically had these 4 circles intertwined together. The red zone, the suffering, the orange, the fear zone, the blue, the learning zone, the green, the growth zone, the white, the miracle zone. She talked about pain, suffering, the fear, the procrastination, making excuses, complaining, listening to others. Then she talks about, the learning zone, how to deal with challenges, how to accept challenges, how to acquire new skills. Then she says something in the growth zone that really got me, was turn battles into victories. Wow. What words to use there? I do not like the word battle whatsoever. You don't want to fight. Fight is very low energy. It makes things very sticky. So I don't tell people you don't want to fight. You want to let things be as they are and allow the mind, to drift away. That's creating that battle that wants that fight. We need to relax into this deeper essence. So there's no need for battling. And I would just simplify all of this. I think it's just too broken up. It's too much in the mind for me. To me, it's just various flavors of head trash. And we just really want to get rid of that head trash into our divine essence. And she does make a point here. Moving from suffering is not easy as many would have done it. Right? If everybody could heal themselves, they would have already if it was easy. Well, it can be not necessarily easy, but it could be a simpler process as you're led to believe. Because we have to realize the mind hates change and will do everything it can to prevent change. So that's where the struggle is, if you will. I'm not a big fan of the word struggle either. That's like battle. There's no struggle. It's about relaxing into our deeper essence. And let's see what else we got here. Like I said, it's a little disjointed. I'm just going through my notes here. Okay, then she said, there is a structure to receive miracles. More of this. So what is a spiritual guide? A guide, they provide spiritual help, assistance, and support, healing. She's talking about these angels, these spirit guides. The mind likes all this division and separation and power outside of us. But we have to realize that it's all one. It's one ocean of consciousness. And there's various streams of consciousness. But it all is one ocean of consciousness. Then she said, my spiritual guide is the Holy Spirit, the power of God, the Almighty. He's the source of all spiritual healing, the creator of the universe, creator of life. She has the Holy Spirit outside of herself. And this is a huge difference. I don't put power outside of me. And when I work with clients, I have them tap into their own divine essence, their own power. And I teach people to remember who they really are and letting go of all these mental stories, the identity, the personalities. We need to drop all of that. Then she's saying, here, Holy Spirit is the miracle worker. No, everyone is a miracle worker because we're all spirit. You don't have a spirit. You don't have a soul. You are soul. You are spirit. We get so attached to this body, this flesh, this mind, we forget who we really are. We need to dive deeper into this essence. Then she's talking about, her first, mystical experience, if you will, with a cat that wasn't doing well. She was praying and she saw this golden light. Well, for me, I was asking, who am I? And I heard a voice say, perfect spirit, because we're all perfect spirits. We just get attached to this flesh. But paranormal experiences are just normal. I don't really make a big deal of them anymore. But she said these two healing commandments she received from this golden light. Failure is not an option. You are not here to do your best. You are here to do the impossible. Okay, I never had a conversation with spirit where it talks this way. It's always from the viewpoint of spirit that all is well. There's no failure. It's just feedback to try a different way. And we're always doing our best because this is what we know of this experience. You're not here to do the impossible. That's just a mental story. We have unlimited possibilities and potentials within us because we are spirit, capable of all things. But we're always doing our best based on our understanding of this situation and how aware we are of the situation. Most people aren't fully here because they're trapped in these mental stories. She's saying in healing there is no failure. The Holy Spirit does not fail. I would just back up there. In healing there is no failure. The Holy Spirit does not fail. But what happens when somebody loses a limb? Something more dramatic. I haven't seen anybody grow back a limb or replace an eye or something like that. So you can heal the body to a certain point. That's my viewpoint there. And then she's saying, if we work together, me and Holy Spirit, we can achieve the impossible. I would put limits on that. You know, you can't regrow a limb. I haven't seen anybody regrow a limb, and some other things that are very difficult. Like I haven't been able to fix my pupils, so I don't need glasses. You know, I was born with larger than normal pupils, I guess you can say, and that's why I have glasses. Because my pupils are too large. I haven't figured out how to reduce what I was born with, so I haven't figured that out. So some gifts of the Holy Spirit: miracle healing, prophecy, wisdom, knowledge. When we know ourselves as spirit, you enter a state of knowing that you have these inherent abilities. Then she talks about the 7 healing principles. Okay, let's go through these real quick. This is getting kind of long video, but it's a 90-minute webinar. The 7 healing principles. 1, all healing starts with you. That's agency. That's taking responsibility for yourself. Yes, all the power is within us. It's not outside of us. And that's what I was constantly doing, looking outside for my doctors to fix me, and they couldn't do it. Oh yeah, here she's saying, yeah, bedroom for 3 years. She had a graphic up that said either like 6 years or 8 years, I don't know, but she said 3 years. Okay. Being angry doesn't help, right? Our emotional state can block our own knowing. When the mind's very busy in an angry, frustrated state, you can't hear your own wisdom. Then she even said, all miracles start with you. You know, all miracles start with us, that we are the owner of the miracles. But then she talks about the Holy Spirit outside of here. So she's in this weird, split, contradictory state. I don't quite understand. So, number 2 is find the root cause. She's like, find the root cause of your issue. This reminds me of like therapy, digging into the past. Is it really that important? I really don't like to talk to my clients that much about the past because I don't want to reinforce that story and make it stronger and reinforce. That's the law of attraction once again. We want to say, get ourselves here to the present moment, then change the status of the body. You know, get yourself here, let go of the past. Most people aren't even aware of the root cause because it's buried in the subconscious. But there's practices you can do to clear that subconscious and be able to work with. I call myself a head trash healer because I deal with a lot of stuff in the subconscious. And a big story that I can share about this was, you know, a woman in her 30s was having relationship issues. It never worked out. I was able to tie it back to an experience at age 6 where she felt not good enough, and this carried over into adulthood. And once we cleared that, you know, things got back on track where she felt good enough and worthy of that relationship. All right. So for her, you know, she had an autoimmune disease, and I also had some autoimmune diseases, the multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, and psoriatic arthritis. What I'm seeing from autoimmune diseases is there's an element of self-criticism, self-hate, not good enough, that we're creating a toxic inner environment. We need to remove this head trash. Okay, number 3 was love and value yourself. You know, make yourself a priority. That's very important. We have to take time for ourselves every day. My practice was 5 minutes a day of just this daily mental shower, getting rid of the opinions, the beliefs that didn't serve me. Then she would start to share some testimonials. She does have some good stories. Even, you know, people that focus on healing and being healed, if they can soften that belief, then they can turn things around. But they really fixate on that they need to be healed or healing, then, you know, it's more of a challenge to actually achieve that goal, that outcome. So we need to soften that and say, okay, the body needs attention. Let's give it the attention it needs and move forward. She's saying number 4 was take action fast, act immediately. Use your healing process right away. Don't delay. And just she talked about a story, you know, somebody had an issue and they let it fester and it turned malignant into cancer and all this story. But what I would say, take action first is you're going to have this insight, this knowing that you need to go do this. Then the mind will come along with all these excuses and reasons why not to do that. So it's about learning to trust that discernment, that inner wisdom. Okay, I thought this number 5 was interesting. Humble yourself. Do not allow the ego to rule. It was like she said this that really got my attention during this humble yourself. It's like surrendering yourself, humble yourself before God, give gratitude to God. It's like the God of the old, the punitive God who decides who gets a miracle and who does not. We just give gratitude for us. We are the divine. It's not outside of us, it's within us. All right, let's see. Number 6 she did twice. So first number 6 was willing to try. This is not really important. Number 6 is a willing to try. Right? Make an intent that things need to change. For me, I was stressed out and overwhelmed. I didn't have any concept of healing. I just wanted inner peace. So I had to try, to get inner peace. And when I got inner peace, I aligned my spirit, my soul, and that took over, and then the diseases went away. She's saying you don't need to believe in miracles for miracles to work. You just have to have faith but faith in yourself, not outside of yourself, but faith in you. All right. And number 6 again was have a powerful spirit guide who heals. It's only Holy Spirit, power of God. Once again, it's looking outside of yourself for a spiritual guide outside of you to heal you. I don't hold that view whatsoever. And I even don't like things like the higher self as it gets you looking outside yourself. It's always going within and realizing how the resources within you, outside of you, are tools, aids, helpers. Like I said, I had a compound fracture in my left elbow. I needed, somebody to help set that bone and put it into place. This is where our tools or aids or helpers are outside of ourselves. Then she was sharing some more testimonials. And then number 7, which is actually number 8, was be willing to learn. And for me, I'm not a big person of learning, of reading, of studying, because it can add more stories, more head trash. I was really fortunate not to have a spiritual teacher teaching me meditation. You have to sit a certain way, breathe a certain way, hold your hands a certain way. I would have been so tied up in the rules. It was good I didn't have all that knowledge. So I can see mental knowledge can be dangerous if we're constantly learning. Like when I was sick, I was constantly reading about my diseases, the medicine, the side effects. It was too much information. I want to strip that all away because that can become a head trash thing. All right, then I wrote down the details of our Miracle Healer program. Learning skills for miracle healing, how to conduct, how to connect to Holy Spirit. How can you connect to Holy Spirit? How can you connect to that which you are? Once again, you're trying to connect to something outside yourself, which is a little bit of a mental game that you think there's something outside of you. It's just a flavor of head trash. And we just have to realize you can't connect to that which you are. You can only remember who you are, really, not this ego, this identity, this personality. Just connecting to who you really are. How to establish a relationship with Holy Spirit. Once again, outside of yourself. Now let's go within. All right, there's just more details of our program here. Let's see. You're going to receive her spiritual guiding powers. We all have the same power within us. It's just a matter of developing those skills and mostly that confidence and trust in yourself that we're always told to not trust ourselves, that we don't know what's best for us. We have to realize we live in this body. We know what's best for us. It's just the mind telling these stories. Let's see, she has a monthly coaching call. I do twice a week in my groups. The online community. She has a healing retreat. She has a private session, all fairly standard stuff. Okay, then the Q&A was really interesting. She made some interesting points here in the Q&A. She says, we teach you meditation because you need a calm mind to do the healing. If the mind is noisy, you can't receive healing. Well, why didn't this come to the very beginning? You know, that's all about getting rid of the head trash. And hopefully she's not teaching formal meditation, because people can get really fixated. Am I doing this right? There is no right or wrong. We're just relaxing and staying present. That's when you're in your full power, when you're fully here. Then this really bothered me, if you will. But in the Q&A, she was talking about if you have financial difficulties. In other words, you can't afford my program. She said, then go ask your children for help. Take responsibility for you. She said, remember, number one was taking responsibility for yourself. Go ask others for help financially. Now, I understand. I was in this incurable state for a long time. And there's a lot of people out there that are bedridden, that can't work, that have this fixed income. So I'm not going to put those kind of demands on people. I have free groups. I create videos. I create free offerings because I know people can't afford some of these programs. Because I know my co-pays with good insurance are still, $8,000, $10,000 a year. But I didn't know, hey, I'm better off spending that money learning how to, take back my ownership, my responsibility, so I can create this life of my dreams, live life on my terms. But there's resources out there. You got my Relief from Chronic Illness group. I got Beyond Head Trash group. I create daily YouTube videos for the last month plus. I have all this free content out there, these books, everything, because we're all in different stages. And there's no one right stage. So you have to find that path that works for you, because you live in this body. You know it the best. Just relax, trust yourself. What feels right to you, and that is the right answer for you. Well, hopefully this comparison between the two was kind of interesting for you. Sorry, it's over 20 minutes, but hers was 90 minutes. If you wanted to get an idea what she's talking about, the biggest difference is she focuses on healing. She focuses on power outside of you, where I'm focusing on finding that peace which aligns you to who you really are, where your power is. Then you're creating life on your terms. I use a lot of the Abraham principles. I tune into perfect spirit. And we find that path for you, your way. It's not one size fits all. It's one size fits you. All right, take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.